regional state of Tigray is found in the northernmost tip of Ethiopia and occupies a land area of 55,000 square kilometers with a population of 4.4 million. Tigray is endowed with vast arable land suitable for mechanized farming, virgin land as well as rivers like the Tigray, which can be used for irrigation and hydroelectric power. Its dense forests are home to a variety of wild animals. Its rock-hewn churches, the obelisks at Aksum, the Nagash Mosque, and the remains of Yeha Temple have indeed made Tigray one of the wonders of the world. Despite being the cradle of Ethiopian civilization, Tigray has been the victim of ruthless oppression by successive systems of government. Coupled with this, it has been hard hit by recurrent drought and cycle of civil wars. The people of Tigray, along with its Ethiopian brothers, therefore, waged an unrelenting war for 17 years before it won a Pyrrhic victory over tyranny and oppression. The result is the establishment of democracy, good governance and development. In order to slough off the perennial poverty and pervasive backwardness from the face of Tigray, therefore, Tigrayans managed to establish in 1989 the Tigray Development Association, TDA. TDA has been the prototype for its people-centered developmental work in the last 19 years. So far alone, TDA has managed to build close to 100 elementary schools, 11 libraries, over 70 health centers, and provided pertinent skills training to over 7,000 Tigrayans, all at a cost of over 300 million birr. Generally speaking, TDA continues to tread a successful path by engaging over 2 million people in its 2,000 projects annually. By the way, how does the regional government of Tigray view the work of TDA thus far? And what message does it have for TDA? I would like to encourage everyone to be generous in their donation to TDA's Millennium Tele-ton, given the fact that TDA is engaged in commendable developmental effort where government effort alone has failed to deliver. What about all those who have become beneficiaries of TDA? What do they have to say? I decided to be a TDA member because I have seen with my own eyes what it has done to improve the fortunes of thousands of our folks by making education available to all. The acute degree of poverty and backwardness in Tigray constitute a fillip for TDA to redouble its developmental work in the region. In order to address these interrelated problems, TDA carved out a project-focused development plan and stretched out to galvanize support from Tigrayans all over the world. It has thus far secured pledges of support from Tigrayans in North America to build more than 20 elementary schools, from Europe 4, from the Middle East 2, and from within Ethiopia 4. The pledges have already yielded encouraging results. Schools built by TDA branches in Las Vegas, Jeddah and its environs, Germany, Seattle, as well as by a member of TDA Washington, Ato Haile Tzadik, have now started accepting students. Abrahat Garanchal is 7 and is in class 1. Abrahat wakes up early to help her parents with household chore. She then hurries to school. Because of lack of clean water near her home, she makes sure that she fetches water on her way, enough for her thirst and to sprinkle on the dusty classroom. This kind of chore is the duty of every single student every single day. This is what Abrahat's school looks like. No passerby would ever imagine that this shed serves as a school. But for Abrahat and her friends, who have the thirst for education, however, they love it. Though their back and their exercise books bear the brunt of the scorching sun, they attentively follow their lessons and have a good rapport with their teacher. Abrahat School is the epitome of the status of some 34% of elementary schools in Tigray. While Abrahat and her friends were following their lessons, a spring gust comes and causes havoc in their class. Their exercise books are strewn all over their place, their backs are covered by dust, and the blackboard is thrown away from its hinges. But far from being panicky and stopping their studies, these students plow through their lessons by singing inspirational songs. Abrahat School is found in eastern Tigray, and similar makeshift or das schools are to be found in southern, western, central, and northwestern zones of Tigray. Out of the 1,700 elementary schools in Tigray, 725 are makeshift or das schools. Young Tefto Gabramariam from a makeshift or das school in Mentabtab in western Tigray has this to say about the daily problems she encounters at school. Learning in a das school has peculiar problems. Quite often our lessons are interrupted by the sudden invasion into our das of scorpions, rats, lizards and snakes. We get sunburns, and when it rains our exercise book is soaked in rainwater. We have plenty of problems. It's amazing to hear words of hope coming from students who follow their studies in such hardship. Most want to be teachers, agricultural experts, medical doctors, engineers and administrators. Though they have such hope, last winter's flood came and swept away their makeshift school under their very nose. Yet again, these students would not stop their attendance from whatever was left from their school. This is Walda Jesus Gabru, and his two children attend this das school. Though he is delighted that his children have finally got a teacher within a walking distance from their home, he expresses great concern on the effect of the sun and dust on his children's health. They come covered in dust, sick and with flu. The contributions of teachers who brave such conditions in building tomorrow's Ethiopia are immense, and they deserve the thanks and appreciations of every Tigrayan. The students themselves are full of praise for their courageous teachers and express their appreciations by calling them Namhare Aine, my teacher, my sight. Teacher Jordanos has taught Abrahat and her friends for over a year. What did she say about the learning and teaching processes? I strive hard to ensure that my students retain what they are taught, with the discomfort that they endure by sitting on the ground for long hours and the sickness that they get from being exposed to the sun. This causes lack of concentration and absenteeism from school on grounds of sickness. Because I'm well aware of the farmers' problems, I try hard to show empathy and convince parents to send their children back to school. But we are in a real dilemma.